Not too far away from First Serve here at Winnebago Lutheran Academy, the campus of. Glad to have you along this evening on WLA TV. Jordan King with you, taking through tonight's regional quarterfinal action between WLA and Princeton Green Lake. Princeton Green Lake, the co-op, going by the Tigersharks. That is their mascot. The Vikings hosting the Tigersharks, who are the 7 seed in this regional. Now, not going to have a political WIAA seeding discussion. I'm sure there have been plenty of those that have been had since, all 3 of the brackets were released in volleyball, soccer, and then the football ones that prompted quite a bit of discussion over the course of the week. But some of them get ranked 1 through 16 per sectional. Your side of the section, and then some get reseeded 1 to 8 in your subsection, which is called a region. And WLA, unfortunately for them, as you look at how the sectional would have shaken out had they seeded it 1 through 16, WLA probably comes out a little bit on the short end of the stick. And teams like Laconia and Springs would say the same thing, I'm sure. When you look at how this shakes out. WLA plays Princeton Green Lake today. If they're able to get the win, they have to play a team like Laconia already on Thursday. That's a regional semifinal. You would assume that a team like Laconia, that would be a regional final. It's a regional semi in this setup. And then if the Vikings are able to knock off Laconia on Thursday, again, this is all assuming everything goes to scratch, then WLA would have to go on the road to Randolph. And that's your regional final. Now, if you win your region, Randolph's the 3rd-ranked team in the state. You win your region, now you think you can beat anyone in the state, probably, and you don't mind your chances going to a neutral floor and playing a Waterloo or a Horicon, and then the other side of the bracket is Broadhead, Mineral Point, those types of teams. So, again, you look at the rankings in Division III. Randolph is ranked. New Glarus is not ranked, but they got an honorable mention look. Waterloo got an honorable mention look. And so it's just a little unfortunate how it shook out for WLA. But nonetheless, they made post. You get a shot in volleyball. Everyone gets into the postseason, and it's your job to do the best you can. You have to beat everyone at some point. But you got to put together 3 really, really good matches, probably 2 of your best matches of the season if you're WLA on Thursday and Saturday, if you want to make it out of this regional and have a shot at a sectional semifinal, as I mentioned, against a Horicon or a Waterloo, a team like that. So the road is difficult for the Viking volleyball team, but it's set out for them here, and you can catch the first 2 rounds. That is, if the Vikings are not upset here tonight. You can catch the first 2 rounds here on WLA TV. We'll tell you about the rest of the week that is for WLA sports. No football, obviously, as they struggled down the stretch and were not postseason eligible. But still a very busy week at the academy and a chance for both the volleyball, soccer, all 3, volleyball, soccer, and cross-country teams to make some noise here on the campus of the academy this week. We are just about set to go with warm-ups coming to a conclusion in just a couple of minutes. Then we'll have anthem and starters, and we will get things rolling here. A regional quarterfinal matchup between the Vikings and the Tigersharks here on WLA TV. Stay with us.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to tonight's WIAA Regional matchup between the Princeton Green Lake Tigersharks and your Winnebago Lutheran Academy Vikings. Now, to honor America and those defending our freedom, we ask those who are able to stand, remove your hats, and place your right hand over your heart for the singing of our national anthem, performed this evening by WLA sophomore Riley Levita.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleam, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land and the free and the home of the
Tigersharks. Number 6, Lily Busler. Number 7, Juliana Fishbacher. Number 9, Aubrey Heemstra. Number 10, Avery James. Number 13, Ava Kuklinski. Number 14, Tori Wagner. And libero, Maddie Cody. And now, for your Winnebago Lutheran Academy Vikings. Number 4, Avery Superman. Number 5, Brooklyn Gins. Number 10, Belena Gins. Number 11, Amber Johnson. Number 12, Lindsay Nell. Number 13, Siri Kuski. And libero number 17, Kiara Shea. The referees for tonight's game are Glenn Kaczynski and Brad Seidel, and line judges Harvey Kentop and Corey Loberger.
There you go, just about set to go. Regional quarterfinal action. The 2 seed in this particular regional, the WLA Vikings, and the 7 seed Princeton Green Lake Tigersharks. Once again, if you missed the starting lineups, the Vikings remains unchanged for how they've started it since Brooklyn Dins came back from an injury earlier this season. Avery Supernan, Brooklyn Dins, Milena Dins, Amber Johnson, Lindsay Nell, Siri Kuski, and the libero is Kiera Shea. For the Tigersharks, 6, Lily Busloff, 7, Juliana Fischbauer, 9 is Aubrey Heemstra, 10, Avery James, 13, Ava Kuklinski, and 14, Tori Wegner. Maddie Cody is number 18, the libero for the Tigersharks this evening. So just about ready to roll, and Siri Kuski will get things going for the Vikings from the service line, as she usually does. Vikings undefeated conference champs in the flyweight. Kiera Shea able to get to that one, and Lindsay Nell finds a good spot on the far side of the court, and the first point goes to the Vikings. The match to close out conference, an undefeated conference campaign for the Vikings, was down at Campbell Sport. They won it fairly easily. First and third sets won 25-17. The second set they dominated 25-6. That's a good swing and a good spot from Ava Kuklinski, but it was a little bit deep. So I guess that means it wasn't a good spot, but not a terrible idea from Kuklinski to get it over the block and look like it might fall for the Vikings, and there's the Vikings' first ace. 3-0 here early on, and I'm sure for the Vikings who want to take care of business, it really did not have a playoff type of atmosphere or feel in warm-up. Certainly the music really wasn't that loud. There wasn't any band. There's a good tip from Kuklinski. It's found by Kiera Shea and tipped over by Amber Johnson. That's a good spot. Amber Johnson, her first point accounted for here this evening, and it's 4-0 for the Vikings. But the Vikings still got to take care of business despite maybe not having the, this is a game that maybe you don't get up for as much as some in the flyweight conference. Lindsay Nell passes it in a free one coming for Princeton if they can deal with it, and they just about do. Chance for Nell on the overpass. Dug up, well done there by the Tigersharks. And Dins is going to try to find Kuski, get back into set. There's cross court from Avery Supernan. Found part of the court over there, did Avery, and it's 5-0 for the Vikings. So a good start for WLA, as you might have expected for the Vikings, to just jump all over the Princeton Green Lake Tigersharks. Here's a free one again. Dins, Kuski looks back to Supernan. 2 in a row for Avery Supernan. Not quite. Overpass, though, for the Vikings. Back into system. Tipped up by and a good spot once again. Second kill for Lindsay Nell early on here. And Vikings are rolling right along. WLA in the regular season, 21-8. Get you Princeton Green Lakes in just a second. Second kill for Siri Kuski here tonight. And the Vikings making it look relatively easy. But 21-8, undefeated, as I mentioned, in the Flyway Conference. Princeton Green Lake 4-19 on the season. Their last result was a 2-1 loss to Berlin. And that's a team that the Vikings took care of fairly easily earlier in the season. Amber Johnson off her back foot into the block. Another chance here for Avery Supernan from Kuski into the tape. No, it was blocked, they will say. And that meant Lindsay Nell could slam it across. That's a tip from Kuski. Nell, Kuski looks back. Far side, Johnson on the tip. Another good one from Amber Johnson, her second kill of the night. But, looking at Green Lake, Princeton, just not a great season for them. As I mentioned, just a couple of wins, 4 of them on the season. Madison, La Follette, Belleville, Partyville, and Wayland Academy, the wins for Princeton Green Lake. And some of those, obviously, you don't know the whole stories for them. So some of those maybe you would scratch your head at, just assuming the size of the school and things like that. But a lot of results that you got to look in a little bit further than just a WISsports.net schedule. So I'm not going to make any judgments based on that. So far, the Tigersharks look to be struggling, obviously. Not telling you anything you don't see right there. But the Vikings chance to continue a hot start here in the playoff run. And if nothing else, give yourself a little confidence heading into a Thursday match that will likely be against flyway rivals and a team that you really struggled with over the course of the years. There's Siri Kuski tipping it over, and the Vikings lead at 9-0. But you got Laconia most likely coming up on Thursday. Laconia, to their own right, plays Partyville, one of the teams that Princeton Green Lake beat earlier in the season, but had a better resume, so got a higher seed. But you would assume Laconia will deal with that fairly easily here over in Rosendale tonight. Tipped here from Amber Johnson. And nice play by Green Lake there. Good swing on the near side. And once again, Johnson's going to get a better swing this time off the block and out. Amber Johnson's got a nice start to this one. She's got 3 kills. 10-0 Vikes. Just to recap the regional that WLA is in, Randolph was the 1 seed. They play Lemira. And Lemira was the second worst team in the Flyway Conference this year based on record. I need to confirm that. There's the 3rd kill for Lindsay Nell. I want to say something that's incorrect, so let me grab my notes here and pull up the Flyway Conference again, because I don't want to give don't want to be unjust to Lemira. But yeah, Lemira, the 2nd worst team in the Flyway to Amro. They were 1-6 this season. Now, Amro was 0-7, and again, that's one where if you just look at the schedule, you're a little bit misled, because WLA was in a tournament, did a lot of rotating, had some kids out for a tournament game where they lost to Amro. And Amro's a team that's struggled mightily this season. And it wasn't going to matter in the seeding once WLA beat Laconia. There's the first point for the Tigersharks. And it even gets a cheer from the WLA student section as the Vikings lead at 13-1 here tonight. It's a pretty good serve there from Kuklinski. And the Vikes right back at it with another kill. 14-1. The Vikings lead it here early on. Yeah, getting back to that, the Vikings lost to, here's Lindsay Nell. Got it, found a corner, did Lindsay Nell. It wasn't going to matter. They were never going to get ranked ahead of Randolph, and once they beat Laconia, they were never going to get ranked behind Laconia, and they were certainly not going to be ranked behind Springs then. So the 2 seed was always likely for WLA, but you have to look a little bit deeper with some of those results than just they lost to so-and-so, and here was what the sets were. That was a wide swing on the near side from the Tigersharks that was a little bit wide. So another point to the Vikings. They lead at 16-1. Here's another ace for the Vikes. My guess is we'll probably see some shuffling of the lineup here for WLA as well. But you do want to take care of this in straight sets. Get it done with and move on to the next opportunity in the postseason. And another point for the Vikes on an unforced error. 18-1. Another good one from Amber Johnson. And Johnson has been serving well, really well the last couple of weeks. Most specifically, I go back to that Springs match where she went on a personal 11-0 run to really steal that one back for the Vikes. An opportunity that Springs had in that 4th set to come back. There's another ace for the Vikings. 20-1. And Amber Johnson got back to the service line and just very calmly settled her team down, got him back into the driver's seat. And we may not even see the Vikings have to substitute here, not get through their first rotation which would mean no Brooklyn Dins and no Sam Unger in this first set. I don't think either of them are too worried about playing time. They're still cheering for their teammates, as you would expect. 21-1 here in the first. And another ace from Amber Johnson. She rolls along. Vikings splitting this up between two servers so far. We've only seen Siri Kuski and Amber Johnson thus far. There's another one as Amber Johnson continues on. Timeout from Princeton and Green Lake. Tigersharks will take a time as the Vikings are up 23-1. Pretty dominant display here for the Vikings, but you know, this is how you want your team to respond to who they're playing against. And you know, you kind of got to go, once it's postseason time, you kind of got to go nameless, faceless opponent. And you know, because a stinker, maybe you can still beat Princeton Green Lake, maybe. But you know, a stinker knocks you out of the postseason, so you can't. Yeah, that's how I always say you got to treat it nameless, faceless opponent. You got to, obviously that's very difficult in a match like this with how this one is started for the Vikings, but you got to try to deal with the same kind of level of intensity as you're going to need coming up on Thursday, because you don't want Thursday to roll around and then all of a sudden you can't turn it on, because Laconia's good enough to sweep you. Here the Vikings. There's a good tip over from Tori Wegner. And the second point of the set here for the Tigersharks. And their libero, Maddie Cody, will head back to the service line for them. Kira Shea gets to it first. Tipped over by Siri Kuski. Some contact with the net there. Couldn't tell if it was the Vikings or the Tigersharks. I'm going to assume it was probably Princeton Green Lake based on the fact we didn't get a whistle. Dug up by Amber Johnson. Looking to the middle here from Siri Kuski, and that's deep from Lindsay Nell. So 23-3 for the Vikings. Still in no trouble whatsoever here in this first set. Kuski looks back, and that was a nice swing there from Lindsay Nell. Vikes want to let it go, and they will. And here comes Brooklyn Dins onto the floor. She'll get out there. And I think she's saying, I got on the floor in set one. She has some fun out there. Cody gets it across for Princeton. Here's Avery Supernant off the block and down. And the Vikings in dominant fashion, 25-3 in this first set, get the first set victory. They'll head to the opposing bench and come back with set number 2. The week shakes out as thus. Tonight you got Princeton Green Lake here for a regional quarterfinal. Coming up on Thursday, it'll be a regional semifinal for both soccer and volleyball. Volleyball will take on, as I mentioned, likely will take on Laconia on Thursday, the runners-up in the Flyweight Conference. And then the Viking soccer team will take on Gibraltar Sevastopol on Thursday. That's at 4:30. You can catch that over at Marian University. No stream on that one. So chance to see some first-round soccer action. Vikings are the 5 seed in their sectional, which sounds like a down year for the soccer team. And in some ways, I guess I would agree with you, but you have to take into account who else is in the sectional. The sectional features the top-ranked team in the state as again, this is last week's rankings. Next week's rankings this is 2 weeks ago rankings. This week's rankings will come out tomorrow. But, we can see if they got released here tonight, because I got wissports.net up here, and so we can pull up the rankings and see what we got going on here for boys soccer. They got posted today, so just got posted. The sectional that WLA is in features Sheboygan Lutheran Christian, who is the top-ranked team in the state. Sturgeon Bay, who is the third-ranked team in the state. The Kiel Raiders, the 8th-ranked team in the state. Kohler is the 4 seed who just got bounced. They were number 10 last week. The Vikings are 5, and the 6th team is St. Mary Catholic, who just came into the rankings this week. So St. Mary Catholic is probably saying we got vastly underseeded. So it's very interesting how that all shakes out. So it is a all of that to say it's a stacked sectional that the Viking soccer team, and I'm not just saying that as someone on staff for the Viking soccer team. It is a stacked sectional that the Vikings are in. Usually sectionals like that are ranked as ours is, usually those are the sectionals from down in Milwaukee. So Vikings have to put together plenty of good performances starting on Saturday. Starting on Thursday, because Gibraltar Sevastopol is not a walkover type of team. Second set starts here. We'll bring it back to volleyball land as Lauren Egbert into the game for the Tigersharks for the first time. As the Vikes race out to a 1-0 lead, Siri Kuski hits the tape and gets batted back for the first service error of the night for the Vikings. Of course, you didn't have much go wrong in a 25-3 first set victory. And the libero for the Tigersharks, Maddie Cody, will be the one to serve. And there's the first lead of the night for Princeton Green Lake. They lead it 2-1 here in this second set. Abby Cole missed the tip there, and kind of mentioned that at the end of the first set you might see some rotation. I'm not saying this is clear the bench type of stuff, but you do want to get Abby Cole some looks because she's part of that second rotation. At some point, if the Vikings dominate this first set like they did or dominate the second set like they did the first set, although not looking too much like that, they're down 3-1. Then I would imagine you get Sam Unger into the third set. You might even start her in the third set because you want to get your second setter of that 6-2. Want to get her some work tonight as well. Tipped over by Siri Kuski, and the Vikings are back scoring with another tip. 2-3, Vikes trail here early in the second set. First set went 25-3 in favor of WLA. And a tip from Princeton Green Lake. Siri Kuski looks near side, and a free one coming back for the Tigersharks, tipped over for the Vikings. Kuski once again looks to the near side. I think she was looking for, might have been Nell that time in the middle, and just errant pass from Siri Kuski. Kind of two schools of thought in a match like this. Obviously, you feel like you're going to get the win, and the Vikings probably are. But you don't want to develop any bad habits in the first round of the playoffs if it's too easy. Here's a chance for Milena Dins, you bet. Don't know if Milena Dins is going to have to be special tonight, but she usually is for the Vikings regardless. 3-4, Lindsay Nell back to the service line, and that goes deep. So the Vikings will at least serve one more different person here tonight in this second set than they did in the first set. They only had 3 players serve: Siri Kuski, Amber Johnson, and Lindsay Nell in that first set. The only 3 to serve, so they'll have a 4th serve here. Shea looks to the far side. Abby Cole way too deep on that one. And a 6-3 lead for Princeton Green Lake. So already maybe, and the Vikings did play extremely well in that first set. You're not going to win them all 25-3, but maybe already a little bit of a lack of focus for the Vikings after that first set. That was a good swing from Milena Dins, and Dins goes off the block and down. Milena Dins still always very, very powerful. Abby Cole's probably thinking, man, I sat out that whole first set. I start this one, and now we lay an egg. She goes to the bench here, and Avery Supernan replaces her as Sam Unger, the freshman, comes in. The setter for the Vikings with Siri Kuski out in this 6-2. Here's Dins. Decent swing from Milena. Far side, tipped across by Princeton. And a free one. No, Avery Supernan can't get it across. That time, Kira Shea had to dive for it, and Unger wasn't able to get her hands on it quickly enough. It was a decent tip there from Ava Kuklinski. This one's a little bit more in system for the Vikings, but Milena Dins turns and still not super thrilled with the set she got that time. Thought it maybe should have been a little bit further out, I think, is what Milena was saying to Sam. Here is a set to the middle, tipped over by Brooklyn Dins. That one probably was not right where Brooklyn wanted it. Chance here for Milena, and the low set into the net. I think Milena was just wanting that a little bit up, a little bit higher on the set there. So 9-4, much better second set here from Princeton Green Lake. Really an impressive response from them. Overpass coming for the Vikings. Good pass from Amber Johnson. Set up with the underhand pass here to Brooklyn Dins, and once again dealt with very well by the Tigersharks. Chance here, pushed across, tipped across, and Milena Dins gets one. I don't know if that's just something that is maybe a point of emphasis that they want Sam Unger to try a little bit more here tonight, but she is setting those low and close to the net, maybe trying to get the Vikings, see if they can go a little bit more quickly. That was out on the far side. Linesman had his flag up right away, so point for the Vikings, 9-6. Tiger Shark bench thought that maybe that might have been theirs. It wasn't. 9-6. And the first ace of the second set goes to Kiara Shea. Vikings back in business. That was a better dig that time from Cody, the libero for the Tigersharks. And a tip from Amber Johnson into the net and down. Eight to 9. Far side, Kuklinski into the block, tipped up, and not quite enough on that one from Brooklyn Dins. So it's 10-8. Substitutions coming in. Madison Wackett in for Green Lake Princeton. Chance for Amber Johnson. That was a good swing from her, dug up well. And can Cody get it across? She can. Good pass that time from Shea. Tipped across. You bet, Amber Johnson. And I bet you that is. Generally, the Vikings don't have that kind of transition where they go quickly. And Unger is setting it low, close to the net, and the Vikes just kind of pushing it across rather than swinging at it. And it's just a different look. This one is set up normally, and off the block and down for Lindsay Nell. And after the Vikings trailed by as many as 4, they are now back to being tied with the Tigersharks here in the second set. Vikings won the first set 25-3. And Dins off of the speaker. There's a big set of speakers hanging down right above play, and Dins got her hands on it, but went right off the speakers and down. Vikings couldn't get it. Here's a chance on the near side, Amber Johnson. Good swing from her. Free ball coming for the Vikings. Shea, Unger pushes it near side and now was into the net. Yeah, you bet. That was a good call. Lindsay knew it right away as well. Kuklinski will serve. Dug up by Shea. Far side Unger, cross court. Supernand has had a little bit more success in the last couple of weeks. Has Avery with a cross court swing, and that one was another good one from Avery as she'll take a seat for Siri Kuski and Abby Cole. (12-11), the Tigersharks have the lead. And Siri Kuski, the first server for the Vikings, I guess we'll call her. Cross court, good swing that time from Abby Cole. Free one coming for the Vikes. Good pass, finds Kuski, and too high. Lindsay Nell went after it. She's missed a handful here in this second set that have helped get the Tigersharks the 2-point lead that they have. Just kind of waiting for the Vikes. You're like, man, tighten it down here. And Kiera Shea looking for a corner, misses it. 14-11. Much more sloppy here in this second set. The Tigersharks have done some more to help that as well. Princeton Green Lake has passed the ball much better, and their serve receive has been a ton better than it was in the second set. Or the first set, pardon me. Good swing there, Amber Johnson. Johnson was the first one tonight that I had for the Vikings to the 5-kill mark. And it's 12-14. Amber will go back to serve now as well. And it's a good one from her, as you would expect. We talked to her after that Springs match, and the question was, man, what does it feel like when you're serving so dominantly, when you got 11 straight serves in? And she said, just get the next serve in. Make the other team play defense. Here's Abby Cole, cross court, got it. Dug up, that's some good hustle. Give the Tigersharks libero Maddie Cody a lot of credit. Sprawling out, able to get to that, just not quite able to get it back into play. I thought that was a very mature answer, as Amber Johnson's got yet another ace here tonight. She served extremely well in that Springs match, then another good match against Campbell Sport that the Vikings able to sweep them. And I mean, this 25-3 score, Vikings won that one 25-6, that second set at Campbell Sport. So it's not like the Vikings haven't done this to a team before. When they get streaky, they go on runs, do the Vikings. And a chance there that was into the net gives the serve back to the Tigersharks. Here's Kuski looking to the near side. Dins off the block. That's a nice job once again by the Tigersharks. Free one for the Vikings, but a good job to get it across. Siri Kuski looking for a chance. That's a good spot from Kiera Shea. Tigersharks on the run, and that's kind of what happens. That was a really nice spot from Kiera Shea. Rather than trying to set up with an underhand set, trying to set up one of her teammates, she just went for that far corner, found it, and Green Lake was on the run after that. Lindsay Nell, that's a good one from Lindsay, and into the net. Good hustle once again from Sophie Busloff, but into the net. And the Vikings have their second lead of this second set. They led it 1-0 and now lead it 16-15. Pushed across by Green Lake. Brooklyn Dins looking to Abby Cole. Cole hung in the air and got it. Nice job by Abby Cole to, as I mentioned, just hang in the air just long enough. 17-15. Is this where, no. I was just about to say, is this where the Vikes start to take a little bit of control, a little bit of grab a hold of this second set? Not to be. That's a good serve. First ace of the night for the Tigersharks goes to Juliana Fischbauer. $17 up. And that one's into the tape. And there's a net there cheer from the student section, which hardly seems appropriate considering the first set score and the rankings of these two teams. But then again, that's high schoolers for you. First serve from Unger is wide and tied up at 18. Dins gets to it, and not great passing that time from the Vikings. Overpass, tipped over. I think that was Brooklyn Dins, one of the two, Brooklyn or Milena. One of the Dins sisters got a fingertip on it to make sure it went down on the Princeton side of things. Milena will continue to serve. 19-18. Oh, that thing knuckled. Oh, I hope you could see that on the stream. The angle I'm sitting at was perfect. Just knuckled and dipped down. That is so difficult for Milena Dins. Another service ace for the Vikings. Dug up better this time from Cody. Unger gets to it. Dins looks back to the middle, and then Kiera Shea will pass it across. Free chance here, and dug up by Amber Johnson. That was a nice pass from Amber under pressure. Cody does a good job, but a free one coming for Kiera Shea. Finds Unger, looks far side. There's Johnson. Yes, sir. Amber Johnson. 21-18. The Vikes have their largest lead of the second set. Sprawling out was Milena Dins. Here's Brooklyn on the swing, and Brooklyn Dins gets another one for the Vikings. 22-18. You know, it's kind of crazy when you are in a battle, you know, with like a Springs or a Laconia. 22-18 seems that just seems like an unassailable lead. It seems like you can't come back from it. And 22-18 seems so small based on how the Vikings played in the first set when they won 25-3. 22-19 here. That was a good serve from Madison Wackett. And Princeton's got to go over the top here. Kuklinski into the net. 23-19. And it'll be Kiera Shea trying for a couple of points to close out this second set. That was another good one. And it just had very, very little, almost no spin on it. And just knuckled at the last second, took it away from the Tigersharks libero Cody. And that one's into the net and down. So the Vikings get a second set win. Had to work for it a little bit more here in the second set. Quite a bit more, I should say. 25-3 in the first set, 25-19 in the second set. We're going to step aside and come back with the final set. Right after this, stay with us. It's Viking Volleyball, WIAA quarterfinal action in the regionals after this. Just about ready to go here in the third set. We are continuing to play with, and this is actually good to figure out as basketball season is on the horizon. The huddle cameras are a little bit different, indoor and outdoor. So we use the same computer for streaming the football and the volleyball and the basketball and the wrestling and all that good stuff. So at least we got it inside for the rest of the year. But trying to make sure that we got it all ahead, or all on time, all synced up. So with the delay of the huddle camera, trying to make sure that we got the audio to sync up with that. So apologies for that, and thank you to Caleb Book, who is tuning in, watching some WIAA Regional Quarterfinal action. Battle at the net there, and tipped across from the Vikings. Somehow Siri Kuski got that across. She put her hand on her mouth almost like she couldn't believe it. Here's Amber Johnson into the block. This is an excellent rally. Johnson, Kuski, chance here for Nell. Yes, Lindsay Nell. Nice play by Lindsay. Battling at the net. But once basketball season, volleyball sometimes can be difficult to tell if you got the audio synced up. Siri Kuski into the net that time. With basketball, you can, it'll take 2 possessions, and I'll be getting texts from all over the place if it's not quite synced up. So, which is okay, which is good. There is no way for me to tell without going back and listening to it afterwards. So it's good when I get that feedback live time. And it means that people are watching WLA sports, which is why we're doing this. 2-1 lead for the Tigersharks. Chance here for Amber Johnson. Goes down the middle. And she hammered that one and tied up here at 2. Amber Johnson's had a nice night. And you got 3 captains on this team. Amber Johnson, Siri Kuski, Kira Shea, that they do not want to lose, I'm sure. They want this ride to continue as long as they possibly can. And if you're in that junior or sophomore class or freshman class, Sam Unger's a freshman, you got to have that same mentality of, it's not my last go at it, but it's my last opportunity to play with 3 incredibly talented players and ones that you will certainly miss next season. So that's got to be the mindset headed into the postseason. Here's Lindsay Nell. Cross court, yes, you bet, Lindsay Nell. That was an excellent swing. And Nell will serve, and after she's done serving, she'll take a seat as Brooklyn Din's on the floor for the Vikings. 4-3 lead for WLA. Lindsay trots up there and hits a good one. Near side, swing into the net. That was Fischbauer. Just got a little ahead of that one. And Lindsay now will continue her second serve here of the third set. Tipped across. Johnson keeps it alive for the Vikings, as does Dins. Free one coming for the Tigersharks. See if they can do anything with it. Cody from the back row takes a swing from her libero spot, and a little bit wide. Ends up in the hands of Coach Krause over there. Coach Krause, 21-9 in her first campaign as the Vikings coach. Former Coach Recker is standing over there as well. 6-4 after that one. Took a deflection and just caught Avery Supernan a little off balance there. Back serving now is Lily Busloff. Far side, Brooklyn Dins into the net and down. 6-5. Kirche, here's Kuski. Kuski to the middle, Dins, yes. Milena Dins. I don't know if that caught any of the block or not, but does not take a lot for her when she is got it rolling for the Vikings. She is dangerous. Here's Unger as Siri Kuski and Lindsay Nell on the bench, as well as Avery Supernan. Looking far side, there's Milena Dins. Looked like it was not tipped that time. As soon as she hit it, she spun around and just could not believe that she didn't get on top of that one. That's a good pass from Kira Shea. Looking middle here to Brooklyn Dins was Unger, and that pass was off the mark from Princeton. And another point for the Vikings, 8-6. Milena Dins back to the service line. The Tuesday of pretty much regional week across the state in pretty much every sport. Kira Shea. Unger, far side, looks for Johnson, tips it up. Oh, what a play. That was number 12, Sophie Buslav. She somehow got her hand on that, and I think that was 4, right? Or a double hit, either one. I think they called it double. I thought that was the 4th hit, too, as well, but that one off the hands of Kuklinski. And the Vikings have opened up a 4-point lead here in this third and decisive, what appears to be the third and final set. Here's Dins, tipped up. Cody didn't want to take a chance on that one. Probably a good idea. Here's Amber Johnson. Didn't hit that one super sweetly, but it was the off speed that kind of threw things off on the far side. Free one for the Vikings. Unger looks back. Dins in that one. Spun down the hand and into the net from Milena Dins. 10-7. Again, the other matchups in this regional as the serve comes across and Unger looks back to Brooklyn Dins. Dins cross court. That was a good swing from Brooklyn Dins. That was very, very well done from the sophomore. And it's 11-7. Randolph, Lamira, that's a 1-8. Lamira at Randolph. Markazan at St. Mary's Springs Academy. And there's an ace for the Vikings behind Kira Shea. All of these are supposed to be 7 o'clock games. Markazan at St. Mary's Springs Academy, Partyville at Laconia, and Princeton Green Lake at Winnebago Lutheran Academy. That's what you're watching here on WIAA TV. So that is the regional. That was a good swing. I believe that was Ava Kuklinski, and it is 12-8. On the bottom part of this, Waterloo, there's only 7 teams, so Waterloo got the bye and moves on to Thursday, which is the regional semifinal. That was Abby Cole that gets it across for the Vikings. Kira Shea able to dig this one up. Kuklinski, free ball, yes! Ava Kuklinski hammered that one down, and it's 12-9. So Waterloo not playing tonight. They'll host the winner of Dodgeland Poinet. That's played at Poinet. Cambridge at Marshall. Marshall was the opening round opponent for the Vikes a year ago. That was an 8-9 matchup for the Vikings. So Cambridge at Marshall, and then Deerfield at Horicon. That's the bottom side of that section. So the sectional semifinal is at Horicon, a neutral site match. There's another ace for the Vikings as the lead is restored up to a 5-point lead, 14-9. And then New Glarus is the sectional final neutral site location. But again, for the Vikes to get there, you're looking at a win over the number 3 ranked team in the state on the road. And that's Randolph. And then likely having to beat Waterloo, who's an honorable mention, and then you get the pleasure of playing a Mineral Point or a Broadhead, someone of that stature. Vikings lead it 15-10. Amber Johnson will serve for the Vikes. There's still quite a few people here. Made the trip out. Get out of the cold. That's in for Milena Dins. And that is a monster swing from her, 16-10 for the Vikings. But the atmosphere should be electric on Thursday night. I would assume everyone, Rosendale, it's like turn the light. Last one out of the town, turn the lights off. That's what Thursday I think is going to be like when the Laconia Spartans come to WLA. That's into the block and out for the Vikings. So a good swing there once again from Milena Dins. And Johnson will continue to serve. That's tipped off Tori Wegner. And another point for the Vikings, 18-10. And a timeout for the Tigersharks. We're going to take it with them, come back with more, finish this set out, and finish the match out right after this. WLA TV. Vikings and the Tigersharks here on WLA TV. Glad to have you along. Jordan King with you here tonight. Vikings rolling to a sweep here, 19-10 in this third set. They won the first set 25-3, second set 25-19, and well in control here in this third and decisive set. Thursday's match will be on WLA TV. Again, likely Laconia and the Vikings. That's cross court off of the net. Don't think it was touched. Yeah, don't think it was touched. That hit the tape. Looked like it hit the tape. Amber Johnson's going to go check and make sure. But I was pretty certain that hit the tape, yeah. Point to Princeton Green Lake. I think that's a good call there. So it'll be Cody to serve. Dug up by Amber Johnson. Far side for Kuski. Looks for Dins. Yes, off the tip. And it's 20-11. But like I mentioned, Thursday, that is going to be an electric atmosphere. You know that if you know anything about WLA Laconia in anything. I mean, the only bigger rival over the course of the last 20 years for WLA in this conference is Springs. And, I mean, I say that, you had the Kettle Moraine Lutheran in there for a while. Understand, but over the course of longevity, those are your two main rivals in this conference that affect most sports, I would say. Always very close to each other in the standings. That's what it seems like. And this time the Flyweight Conference Championship came down to Laconia and WLA. And WLA, give them credit, down 21-18, 21-17 at the pit. WLA rattles off an 8-1 fourth set rally, fourth or fifth set, and then just dominated that fifth set. When the WLA's been taken to 5 in conference, they just dominated. And, we'll see if it has to go to 5 sets, if it goes the distance on Thursday. I sure hope it does obviously I hope WLA wins first and foremost, but from a pure entertainment standpoint, it would be a fun match to watch if it does go all the way to the distance, 5 sets. Of course, you want to win it as quickly as you can. Keep the legs fresh because you got another one on Saturday. Trying to win a regional trophy is tough in volleyball. You know, soccer, you got to win 4 games to get to state. Volleyball, you got to win that 5th one. Unless you are a top seed, and then you don't. Kirche. Brooklyn Dins gets it across for the Vikings. That's a good spot. How about that? Avery James with it. Good swing for the Tigersharks. The Vikings a couple points away here, but it'll have to wait for now. Here's Kuski looking far side. Brooklyn Dins gets up high and swings it down. And a little miscommunication there, I think. Maddie Cody was hoping that was going to be her opportunity. Sam Unger into the game for the Vikings. Chance to close it out. Decent serve. Tipped across. Miscommunication. Abby Cole, I think, got in the way. She was backing up and I think just bumped Unger a little bit. And that slight impeding of Sam Unger cost the Vikings a chance to get that one. Brooklyn Dins sprawls out, can't get there. 24-15. Vikes got to find one more. Juliana Fischbauer. The slow clap ought to do it, right? Dug up by Milena Dins. Unger looks far side. Chance here for Abby Cole. Yeah, off of the defender and down. The Vikings win the 3rd set 25-15, and they have a sweep. Dominant performance for the Vikings here tonight as they sweep Princeton Green Lake 3-0. 25-3, 25-19, 25-15 were the scores of the sets for the Vikings. A 3-0 sweep for them. Really quickly, I'm just going to see if on ScoreStream I can find the Laconia score. If I can, I will pass that along to you. If I can't, we'll just say good night. And I would guess it's probably going to be the Laconia Spartans. Yeah, they don't have anything set up on ScoreStream. So who knows? But I would think it's going to be the Laconia Spartans, and an opportunity if you are out there watching tonight. Obviously, we'd love to have you back on WIAA TV coming up on Thursday night. But if you can't, if you don't want to do that, get here. It should be a good one between the Vikings and the Spartans. And the winner gets the number 3 team in the state, Randolph, after that. Once again, 25-3, 25-19, 25-15. Vikings able to get it done here tonight against Princeton Green Lake. And the Vikings move on in the WIAA playoffs. Up next, regional semifinal. Hope you'll join us for that. That comes up on Thursday. Also on Thursday, that's a 7 o'clock first serve. Also on Thursday at 4:30 in the afternoon if you want to brave the temps, although Thursday looks a little bit better than it has been. Get over to Marian University, support the boys soccer team as they take on Gibraltar Sevastopol and get their first round their first round of the playoffs underway. Hoping to make a trip down to Eline Soccer Park. If the Vikings can get on a little run here, we'll see. And obviously, as they say in the volleyball circles, the quest for the Resch. Trying to get up there to the Resch Center up in Green Bay. Vikings sweep it tonight. We will see you on Thursday. Good night.